Good evening. This is my behavioral systems lesson reflection. For this model, I chose the direct instruction. I'm covering new material with the entire class and wanting to be able to move pretty quickly. It was the week before spring break, so distractions were at a maximum, so I wanted to be able to do something that was relatively controlled and straightforward. Little bit about the class that it was taught to. My 10th grade environmental science and natural resources class. I have 4 sections with a total of 120 students. I'm going to focus this reflection on my first hour, which has 32 students. It is a team taught course with a parapro, so there's myself, a special education teacher, and a parapro in there. That's due to the fact that 19 of the 32 students in that class have an IEP or a 504 with accommodations of some sort. It's a very difficult class. It's first hour in the morning, very hard to get students engaged and working. This lesson is about severe weather. The students were being introduced a large amount of information, and it's ending the unit, so it's kind of like our capstone to bring in tornadoes, hurricanes, thunderstorms, and reoccurring weather, cold waves, heat waves, things like that, and kind of to cap off and end our discussion on our weather unit. So what this lesson was, it was a teacher-led instruction, so we were going through notes as a class, so the notes are up on the screen, and the students are to fill in their guided note sheet as we move through the material. In this lesson, because it is a team taught class with a parapro, both the team teacher and the parapro are moving around the room to help keep students focused. There are some very low level students in the class, so they're working with those students to make sure they're able to keep up with the notes and that we can continue to move forward. So just a little reflection about the method as a whole. This is an effective way to cover a large amount of information in a short amount of time. However, if this was a standalone lesson, I fear that comprehension would be lower than other methods. The students may not fully grasp the information because it's very surface level. However, as a part of a larger unit, it can be very effective. This lesson in particular had a ton of disruptions. My classroom phone rang 3 times, and then in the middle of class, students are called out over the PA to clean their lockers out before spring break. But it still went relatively smooth. This method allowed for those distractions to have minimal impact. So even when the students were called out into the hallway, they came back in and were able to pick up right where we were at and move forward and still complete the lesson within the same time frame, which would not have been possible with other methods. So I was very happy for that because I did not know that disruption was going to be happening that day. A little bit of the impacts on my overall teaching. I would use this approach again. I use direct instruction periodically to present information, but it's always as part of a larger unit. The lesson in particular was a full class period or 50 minutes using direct instruction. And in the future, I would prefer to use smaller bursts. So maybe a 15-minute chunk here or a 10-minute chunk there, because I feel like it can be beneficial, but it can't be standalone. So maybe use it as a way to present information that the students then utilize in a larger format. I think would be very beneficial for my students. Going into this, I thought that I used a lot of direct instruction, but reading through it, I don't believe that to be completely true. I do use direct instruction to present information from time to time, but it's always coupled with other methods. And as our discussion this week brought about, it's that balance that creates effective teaching in the classroom.